This week, we are going to expand what you know about error handling and debugging. And so you're going to start with the reading assignment. You can either read the textbook chapter, the ebook chapter, or read about the different debugging, exception handling, and methods and functions available for validation and error handling. And then the key concepts are going to cover a lot of those techniques that you read about and provide different examples. We'll specifically be using the Developer Console because that is a great tool for debugging. You'll learn how to add breakpoints in your code. You will learn how to use the various data validation methods and functions. And we will also cover exception handling. For the assignments this week, you are going to create a final project repository at GitHub. If you do not have an account, you can get one, although all of you should have an account already. So it's basically a matter of logging in and creating a JavaScript term project repository. And these instructions kind of walk you through it. If you need additional help with that, please let me know because I can easily create a little video and show you what you need to do. As far as the programming assignment goes, there's 3 different exercises. The first 2 practice the exception handling, try, catch, throw, and finally. You're going to use the how old are you little app and add exception handling to that. And it'll be similar to the example that was in the lecture with the wind chill and throwing errors. And then you will download a guessing game and you will add validation to the code and incorporate exception handling into that. There is a video that goes through the instructions in more detail. So please watch that if you have any questions. The third exercise is actually walking through a Canvas tutorial. And these are all of these sections of the tutorial that you need to complete. And you will be creating something similar to this scoring game. And if you would like to use this for one of your games, you do need to change it up a little bit. You can't just have a square and lines. You need to do something like this. Okay, or you can do something like this one. This one uses the arrow keys. Okay, I'm not very good at the game, obviously, but it uses the arrow keys and it does incorporate sound. Okay, so you can do something similar and use it for one of your games. It would count as your HTML5, JavaScript, and Canvas game. Okay, once you've got those done, you are going to link them into your assignment page and transfer everything. Then there is also a problem-solving assignment because we are working on errors and debugging. So I have 5 different exercises with problems. So you will download one of these and you have to debug it. Okay, and then you will link this into your assignment page when you have it fully debugged and enter done into the Dropbox. Once you have debugged it, you're going to go into the discussion and you will post what problem you solved, going to summarize what the issues were with it and what your solutions were. Then describe what you found easy or difficult in the exercise and reply to 2 of your classmates. For our term project, this week, you should be starting milestone 2. Milestone 1 should be completed because that was due on the 11th. I do have examples of term projects. I also have an example of the site that I created. Milestone 2 involves creating one game that is complete, and your second game can be in progress. Okay, so here are your instructions. As far as how you organize the site, you can do a project folder that includes all of your game pages. And then that would also include the README text file, or you can have separate folders for each game. You can organize it either way you want. If you do separate folders for each game, then you'll have to have, media.js folder for your JavaScript and a CSS folder in each of the game folders. If you do the one main folder, then you would have the JS, CSS, and media folders inside that. And that is what I opted to do. So I did the one main folder. You can see that I've got, this is my main game page, and then I've got my different games. I also included the README text, which includes all the information for all the games. And then I've got media.js and CSS. Now you could set it up like this, or you can choose to do a separate folder for each of your games. And if you do a separate folder for each of the games, you are still going to have a README text file for each game, and you'll have to have the media.js and CSS folders for each game. Okay, so how you set that up, I am going to leave up to you. The README text file should have the purpose of the game and directions for playing. If there are problems or issues that you are working on, that should be in the README. Plans to resolve the problems or issues should be in the README. Plans for future releases, if there are plans, should be in the README. Now you'll notice that my README text file, I don't have that because they are fully functional games at this point, and there are no problems. And to be quite honest, I don't have time for a future release, so I did not include that information. So I've got, descriptions on how to play the games. I included a file directory where the different games are, and where the JS, CSS, and media files are located. I've got my contact information, and I included copyright, not just for people that want to use my games, but also the copyright includes where I got the graphics and sound effects from and what the licensing is on all of that. Okay, so all of that should go into the README. And again, as far as current problems, plans to resolve, or future releases, what you put for that is going to depend on, where you are in the game development process. So make sure you've got folders for your CSS, media, and JS. The graphics from the game should go in the media folder. If you have any sound files, they should go into a media folder. CSS should be in an external file and should go into the CSS folder. And if your JavaScript is in an external file, that should be in a JS folder. So your games can be original or remakes of existing games. Do not copy someone else's game and use it as your own, because that is plagiarism and you will get a 0. And so you will incorporate functions, methods, repetition structures, data persistence, all of those things as needed, depending on what you want for your game. And remember, you will have to have a game developed using HTML5, Canvas, and JavaScript. You will have to have a game developed using jQuery. And then the third game is pretty much your choice. You can use HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, jQuery, or an API. Okay, you cannot use any of the frameworks. Okay, and so that is what milestone 2 involves. So you will have one game complete, you will have one game in progress, and then you will do your showcase. And I have an example here with a link to my games. This is basically what you are going to have to post to the discussion when this is due. So looking at the milestone, you can actually edit that PowerPoint that you did for the first one. And what you would be adding to that you'll be adding how to play your first game, any coding issues you encountered and how you resolved them, plans and progress on the second game. If the second game is complete, then you will proceed with how to play that game, any coding issues you encountered and how you resolved them. Okay, and this does need to have a slideshow, and you do need to demo your games. Okay, so whether you choose to demo them first and then do the slideshow, or do the slideshow and then demo, totally up to you. This does need to be videotaped, and the video needs to be uploaded to the discussion along with a link to your game site, because people are going to want to play your game. Okay, and so this is an example of what you will be posting to the discussion. As far as coding resources go, I do have information on README files. I've got a link to a Canvas tutorial, 2D Canvas game Brick Breaker if you wanted to do something similar. And I've got the publisher's PowerPoint along with some basic Canvas animation tutorial. Okay, so that is what you guys are going to be working on this week. And if you run into problems or have questions, please let me know, and have an awesome week.